friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be putting together my first project using the time of day kit from Feed Your Craft. So today's project, I'm actually going to be working on a 12 by 12 canvas, which has me feeling so excited. And the entire spread was inspired by two things. First of all, these two journaling cards that came in the kit that say AM, mornings look like this, and PM, evenings look like this. And then also this sheet of stickers that has the timestamp on it from noon all the way until 10. So it goes from 1 to 12, 1 to 12, essentially. What I decided that I wanted to do, or the story I wanted to tell with the product this time, was a day in the life kind of story about my daughter. So I set an alarm on my phone for every hour starting at 9 a.m. until she goes to bed at 8 p.m. And I snapped a picture of whatever she was doing at that time and then wrote a tiny little bit about it on the spread. So I have each of those photos printed in a 3x3 size with the white border around it. I just need to finish trimming these apart here, and then we'll have all 12 of those photos, which, yes, are right here. So there's the top to bottom. So in addition to the photos, I also went ahead and printed my journaling directly onto my textured white cardstock. So I have the first 6 hours here, and then I have another strip with 6 hours on a second page, which I'm going to attach so that it flips over. On the top side of this, I have yet another piece of this white textured cardstock. That way it all looks like it goes together. And I'm going to add my title to the side where it will say AM to PM with the photos all next to it. So that is essentially what we're doing here today. Here's my rough sketch of what we're working on. And without further ado, what I'm going to do is go ahead and put you on fast forward. We'll jump into this spread and get started. To get started on my spread for today, the first thing I'm going to do is build in the functionality of the side flip off the side of the 12 by 12 page. So what I'm going to do is take a strip of the white textured cardstock, and I chose to use the same cardstock as I did for the spread itself for a couple of reasons. One, so that the texture remains the same where you can see it on the seam, and then also because my copy paper is only 11.5 inches. It's not the full 12, and I wanted to have the full 12 so that it would be totally connected to the side, which you'll see here in just a little bit. So I have a section that is 3 inches by 12 inches. I grabbed out my scoring board and scored it directly down the center. So each section is 12 inches tall by 1.5 inches wide. Then I grabbed over my score tape and I added score tape to the two long edges for each of those inside flaps, as well as for the top of the flap to the left, which you'll see here in a second. Once I have that down, I'm going to take the 12 by 12 paper and stick that there to the inside. Then I'm going to take the backing off of the left side flap, stick my second piece of journaling face down on top of the 12 by 12 page, and then pull down the interactive section there on top. So that way when it all adheres down and everything lays on top of each other, it lays exactly where I want it to go. Once I had that done, the next thing I needed to do was add a little bit more adhesive to the outside. So for the rest of the 3 by 8 inch journaling page there. And before I stuck the top portion down on top, I wanted to build my title. So I have one last piece of that same textured white cardstock that is 3 inches by 12 inches. What I'm going to do is take this AM and PM 4 by 6 journaling cards, and I'm going to fussy cut out the title, so the AM and the PM. I want to leave a little bit of the color around the outside, so the AM will have a border with the yellow and the PM will have a border with the grayish blue color. Then I'm going to take one of the number stamps from the, it's a Kelly Perky or Paper Person stamp set, one that she just released in the month of whatever month last month was, March. Oh my goodness, I'm losing it. So anyway, the large number stamp came from Paper Person. And I liked the scale of it. I wanted something really big in the middle because I want my title to say AM to PM, as in like all day long. So before I go ahead and stamp the 2 on there, I'm going to test out a couple of different ink colors because I'm not exactly sure what I want this ink in the middle color to be. And you know, it's a textured paper, so it's not going to be perfectly bold. So what I did is I grabbed over a piece of cardstock. Now this I accidentally printed wrong. So I had thrown this piece away, but then pulled it back out in order to do some testing on it. So the first one I did was the Otter Rock Gray ink. It's a crafter's ink from Ali Edwards. Then I grabbed over my scrapbook.com premium black dye ink to try that one out. And then I'm going to pull over one more from the Paper Person, which is the Tomato Soup color, which is a red, because I thought that might match the red in the AM title there. I will stamp that out. It does match it pretty well, which is kind of awesome, but I didn't like having the red, and you know, it just felt off balanced to have the red in the middle. So ultimately I'm going to go with my first instinct, which was to use my Otter Rock Gray crafter's ink from Ali Edwards. So I cleaned off my stamp really well. You can see that it's still a little bit like dyed red, but I used a rubber eraser, erased off a little bit of the top portion of the stamp just to make sure all of the ink was off of it. And then when I stamped down with the gray, there is no red coloration in there. So even though the stamp looks like it is dyed red, there is no more ink that will come off when I actually do go to stamp with it. So just an FYI there. So now I've got the 2 stamped there in the middle, and then I can go ahead and adhere down the AM and the PM titles onto this little flap. I think that this looks so cool, and I'm really glad that I went ahead and cut those pieces out and used them in this way, because I think that it's just, I don't know, I like it a lot better than I did as the full 4x6 cards. Not that there's anything wrong with the 4x6 cards, I just like them for this particular spread in this way. And I always like to look at my cards for things that I can cut out and create my own embellishments or my own like feature pieces with. And by cutting both of these out, they together became the feature of this whole story. Okay, so now my title piece is done. I'm going to bring over the full page of my spread, add this to the top of the flap, and then you see now that when the flap is closed, the AM to PM shows and the journaling underneath is hidden. It is a little bit the flap comes up a little bit because it is a freshly made page, but over time and years of being in a closed album, that flap will stay down. So I'm not too worried about it at this point in time. The next thing I needed to do was bring over my stickers that came in this kit. I love these timestamp stickers. They are so fun. And there are the numbers 1 through 12 2 times on the page. So it's a full 24 hours. What I decided to do with them is to use the 9 a.m. So I started at 9 a.m. and we're going to go all the way to 8 p.m. So there's the last one there. And then I have printed 12 photos of my daughter. And these are all 3 inches by 3 inches. The photos themselves are slightly less than 3 inches by 3 inches because I wanted to have a white border around the outside of them. And then I'm going to take those same numbers, so the 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and stick them down on the photos as well. So now the journaling of this page correlates to the photo with the same timestamp on it, and I think that that is super fun. So I wanted to go ahead and cut these all apart. I know that I probably could have just printed them all as one big page, or I could have printed them in strips and added them with strips, but there's something I really like about having the cut lines in those photos, which you'll see here as we go and put this page together, that having the cuts actually gives this page a little bit of dimension when if I would have just had the one page, there wouldn't have been that. There's like, I don't know, almost like a textural bit to it. So I am just using my roller adhesive. I'm starting in the bottom right-hand corner and I'm going to build up and over. And that is going to help me keep everything very much straight and within the confines of the 12 by 12 page. So we've got the first column there, then I'm going to work on the second column, and then we'll do the third column. A lot of this I'm going to skip over because it's all the same thing. And then there we are with the last one. So now you can see how this page works, how it all came together. I am obsessed with it, and I will explain a little bit more of how this is going to go in the album here once we go ahead and slow back down. All right, friends, that completes this spread for today. And how stinking cool did this turn out? I think that this is just one of the coolest spreads I've made. I love, love, love it. So this is going to go into a 12 by 12 story album. Eventually, I will add some kind of attachment here to the side. I'm thinking about taking a clear plastic 12 by 12 sheet and cutting it down into strips that I can then hole punch and adhere to the back side of my 12 by 12 spreads, especially these ones that have the interactive piece to them. And then the pages themselves will be adhered back to back. So it'll be super stable inside of my album, but it will be outside of a page protector. So just in case you're curious how the heck this goes into an album, that is my plan. For now, I'm just going to stick it in a pocket in that album until I'm ready to do that for the whole thing. So super love this one. I love how the journaling correlates to the different photos on the spread. I love seeing a day in Izzy's life and what that looks like, and you know, the ups and the downs and the hyper moments and the not hyper moments. You know, it's a whole day, you know, a whole day when you're with a kid. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this come together. If you did, I would love a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're there so you can see all of my future crafty videos. This kit is in the shop today, so if this is one that you are interested in picking up, I highly recommend heading over there to the Feed Your Craft store and checking out the products that are in the shop today. I do have a link down in the description box. It is an affiliate link that you can click on to head over there and shop away. All right, I will be back later in the month with another spread using this same kit. But until then, I have plenty of other videos coming your way. So hopefully I will catch you in one of those. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.